I got in an unfortunate debate with a Republican today, and I've been having this problem for quite some time, and I'm going to provide this for you just to provide some inspiration to you liberals who have been fighting with and arguing with the liberals, with the Republicans on the net, in order to teach you how to beat them. In particular, I linked to this article. This is a Huffington Post article, and the person said, LOL, Huffington Post, because he has an irrational bias, because he knows the Huffington Post's editorial staff has a point of view. What is really unfortunate about this is that this person basically said that Barack Obama was a failed president, and I more or less not pointed out, this, and I had to point out that my opponent in this little debate was just engaging in confirmation bias and dismissing the article because of the fact that it happened to come from the Huffington Post, which isn't fair. And they do this all the time. It's sort of like, I don't want the truth, therefore I'm not going to actually look at it. So you can actually go to the websites in question and look at what they actually did. It's not like there's no I'll try to find it. I'm not exactly the best navigator of this particular site, but we actually have a copy of him, quoting from it on the site. I don't know exactly when they did this, but they changed the rules. Right, well, here we go. We can actually read the text of the bill. Relating to the consideration of Joint Resolution HJ, Resolution 59, making continued appropriations for the fiscal year 2014 and other purposes, resolved that the House hereby takes one from the Speaker's Joint Resolution, making continuing appropriations for the year 2004 for other purposes, with the House amendment and the Senate amendment therefore insist on its amendment and request a conference with the Senate upon therefore. Section 2. Any motion pursuant to Clause 4 of Rule 9 relating to House Joint Resolution 59 may be offered only by the Majority Leader or his designee. So over and over and over again, I've had to deal with these people basically saying, well, herp-a-derp, this particular thing that I'm putting forward is an article that debunks the idea that when it came to the shutdown, both sides were to blame. There's no possible way that's the case because the Republicans made damn certain Democrats could not vote on a clean resolution. In its effort to extract the concessions from Democrats in exchange for opening the government, the GOP has faced fundamental strategic obstacles. They don't have the votes. A majority of the members of the House had gone on record saying that if they were given the opportunity to vote, they would support what is known as a clean resolution to fund the government. So they knew that between Democrats and Republicans, they could actually do enough to open the government up. This person just laughed in my face. He basically said, it came from the Huffington Post, and you're posting these little charts that show things like this. And this is from Mother Jones, and how dare you quote from Mother Jones? Because it's not like, you can't actually go in and look through, all of this particular stuff to see, and back up its, assertions. Like, there's never an academic, backing up of any of these particular people. I mean, it clearly, they're engaging in a conspiracy to lie to you at the Huffington Post. Clearly their liberal bias is clouding them to the point in which they can't, do math and that they can't see what's actually happening and they're just immature. But look at it. You have all the votes that took place. You have the House resolutions where it's making reference to the rule that's being put forward, and the Huffington Post, the Huffington Post story puts a link directly to somebody.
What purpose does the gentleman from Maryland rise? Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 4 of Rule 22, I move that the House take from the Speaker's table the Senate amendment to the House Joint Resolution 59, proceed from its amendment, and concur in the Senate amendment to open the government now.
Under Section 2 of House Resolution 368, that motion may be offered only by the Majority Leader or his designee.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr.
Gentleman may
Speaker.
state his parliamentary inquiry.
The standing rule of the House is Rule 22, Clause 4. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the standing rule of the House reads, Mr. Speaker, when the stage of disagreement has been reached on a bill or a resolution with House or Senate amendments, a motion to dispose of any amendment shall be privileged. Mr. Speaker, my question is the parliamentary status of the bill, does it meet the requirements of 22.4?
The House has altered that operation of that standing rule.
So I just want to understand, Mr. Speaker, this standing rule of the House, which I have here, has been altered by the House. Is that what the Speaker is saying?
The House adopted a resolution altering.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker. When was that alteration made?
House Resolution 368.
House Resolution 368. Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry. I want to make sure I have the right one. I have in my hand HRes 368, October 1st, resolved, and Section 2 of that says any motion pursuant to Clause 4 of Rule 22 relating to the House Joint Resolution may be offered only by the Majority Leader or his designee. Is that what you're referring to, Mr. Speaker?
That is the resolution.
So, Mr. Speaker, just so I understand the situation, parliamentary inquiry. HRes 368 changed the standing rules of the House to take away from any member of the House the privilege of calling up the Senate bill to immediately reopen.
Do I need to add or say anything more? For years and years, the tyranny of dismissing because of the fact that that site's staff has a liberal and the editorial board has a liberal point of view has gotten too many of you fucking dumb shits deceived for a very long time. What you have and what you've been engaging in is something called willful ignorance, and you are now entering a state of cognitive dissonance because you can't believe it, and you may just push into the backfire effect because your most sincere belief has just been torn apart, and you're about to push into this because of the fact that I've presented you with factual information to double down and push further into your delusions. But your prior belief had not even a shred of truth to it. It's 100% false. Unfortunately, we know only too well about this when it comes to disinformation. It's called the backfire effect. The misconception is that when your beliefs are challenged with facts, you alter your opinions and incorporate them with new information into your thinking. The truth is that when your deepest convictions are challenged by contradictory evidence, your beliefs get stronger. But you know what? Your prior belief, it's complete horseshit. It has not even a shred or a single element of truth to it. It's psychosis, pure delusion. If you're pushing further into your belief that both sides are responsible, you are now entering a state of psychotic delusion. You should be locked up. You should go see a psychiatrist who can push you full of some antipsychotics. You should not be voting. You should not be doing anything that requires any responsibility at all. You should just sit down and take it, because you are failing at your duties. If you believe that both sides are responsible now, guess what? Wind. You're 100% factually, objectively, and absolutely delusional. 100% of the blame. Not interpretatively. This isn't an interpretation. It's an objective fact. belongs exclusively to the Republicans for the shutdown. This isn't an opinion, because when it comes to this, there are only facts and false facts. And if you think that both sides are to blame, you have faith in a false fact. There is an absolute truth here, and that is that Republicans own 100% of the responsibility for the shutdown, and Democrats own absolutely none. There is no doubt about this. I'm speaking in this language specifically because I am certain, beyond the possibility of doubt. I'm not talking about beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm talking about beyond any possibility or preclusion of even the slightest shred of doubt. I know. I am 100% absolutely certain. So the person who put this forward and debated me just dismissed, fundamentally speaking, he was alleging that Barack Obama failed in some capacity. He came forward and he was saying that, this president is a failed president, and on and on and on. And so I took him through the sources one by one, and he kept appealing to stupid shit. He kept asking me how old I was, and he kept saying, well, I've voted, in 12 elections, and because I'm older, therefore I must be wiser than you, even though anybody who's had almost any time on this planet, as it's 28 years, has slowly begun to realize that just because you're older doesn't mean that you're actually wiser. I know that may be hard for you to sink into your thick skull and such, but this person, they must have been something over the age of 50 and wanted me to just respect them fundamentally because of the fact that they were older than me. But as I've been finding, the older you are, the less likely you are to realize how much so the GOP is lying to you. It's the younger generation that is skeptical of them at this point. It's us that have been receptive to it and have been willing to, engage the possibility that they might just be spreading shit. But you can believe this person. You can dismiss the Huffington Post article just on the grounds that it's the Huffington Post, or you can believe your lying eyes. Because what the Huffington Post put forward is not bias. It's what you would know and refer to, terminology-wise, as absolute truth. Unfortunately, the person who chose to debate me in this particular, argument believes that it's a valid reason to cry, LOL, Huffington Post, and dismiss you because of the fact that it comes from this particular group. I'm sorry, sir, but fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Oh, did you not hear me? I said fuck you and the horse you rode in on. That's correct, and the horse. And did I stutter, motherfucker? Say what again, motherfucker? I've had it up to here with debating them. Because this is all the Republicans seem to be capable of. This is what they want you to do. Since you can't they think that it's actually a pithy point to point out that if I were writing an academic paper, even though when I'm replying to them on the internet is not an academic context, that I would not be able to cite Wikipedia. But that doesn't matter. Because if I were writing an academic paper, what I would do is merely use Wikipedia as a starting point, and then I would go in to Wikipedia and let's look up a particular topic in Wikipedia, just to show you how completely full of shit these people are, and that they don't have a leg to stand on. I don't have to go very far. What do you know? It's like they've never even learned how to use it, because you see this? This is a citation, this is a citation, this is a citation. This is a citation. Apparently Republicans are too stupid to understand this particular point. And so all I have to do to know that what Wikipedia is putting forward is not necessarily bullshit and stuff is to go into one of these documents, like the conflict tactic. So all I really have to do, I can look in when it comes to this particular thing, I can look at the criticism and such, and the debunking that took place inside it, and instead of using Wikipedia, what do you know? It's an article that I can put forward because of the fact that it's been gleaned from Wikipedia. And if I were writing an academic paper, what I would use was this instead. But you know, my professor would have no idea what I had just done, or how I got this information, or that I got it from going to Wikipedia before I went to it, and I'm not certain that my professor would even care. So, while it's true that I can't literally quote everything that is being put forward here inside my papers, I can go and find one of these academic papers and not quote from them, but paraphrase them inside a debunking that is put forward on the net. I mean, they want to insult you as a liberal. They want to imply that you are so ignorant that you don't know how to write an essay. They want to imply that liberals are so dumb and conservatives are so smart and mature and just, it's so intelligent. And that anybody who dares disagree with them must somehow be stupid. So this is what I had to do this. I have been forced into my position of ridiculing them. Because there's nothing else that you can say except this. Don't cite Wikipedia as a source. Cite Wikipedia's sources instead. Don't cite Huffington Post as a source. Just use the sources that Huffington Post points to instead when you debate a stupid fuck. Let's not call them Republicans, because they're just stupid fucks. They don't deserve the glory of that particular